Hi guys, so what you're looking at today is basically freshly renovated, freshly painted kitchen cabinets. I used the Annie Sloan's chalk paint. It's pretty much available in most cities. I picked up mine from a store called Raposa. It's in Oakville, and I really suggest that you pick it up from the smaller stores versus big box stores, because those smaller stores, the owner really care. They'll actually guide you through the whole process. I am not a handyman. I've never painted kitchen cabinets before. So this video is for people who have never done it before and wants to paint their kitchen cabinets. This video is for them. This video is for people who are wondering what the chalk paint and the process looks like. It's for them. So basically I will walk you through the whole process. I've documented everything that I did. There has been a lot of issues that popped up while I was doing it. Initially it looked really easy, but then I had to go through a lot of hoops to make it work. But thanks to people at Raposa, they actually helped me out. They walked me through the process, and then eventually I got this final cabinets painted. My next video will be on the backsplash and as well as countertops, and basically I wanted to make this kitchen a little upgraded. Right now it's really outdated, so do watch the whole process. I did not record myself painting because obviously that's a pretty easy process, but I have recorded pretty much all the issues that I've gone through in the video. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you think I've done a good job, bad job. Do comment and do let me know your experiences. Thanks and good luck with your project. Okay, so this is the kitchen that looks like before we doing any touch up. As you can see, all the cabinets are in really bad conditions. It really needs a refresh. Of course the countertop needs to be changed, but we're gonna start off with just doing a chalk paint. And we bought a chalk paint from Annie Sloan. We decided that we're gonna use two different colors, two tones. So one of them is gonna be Sunetska blue and then Aubushan blue, the second one. We're gonna use the darker one in the bottom and then lighter one on the top. And for that they recommend that we use the chalk paint brush. So we bought one by Annie Sloan. And we're gonna use this brush, this paint. Of course we're gonna buy a bigger can. This is just a sample, and once we start the project we're gonna record that as well, and we're gonna see how it's gonna turn out. Okay, so you pour a little bit of paint in the container. It can be any container. Put a little bit of water so that it looks little liquidy. When you actually take it out from the can, it's really thick. So now it's little liquid. What we're gonna do is just dip a little bit to the brush right on the tip, and then you apply it on the cabinet. So usually you go with around the edge first, right? And make sure you get everything inside, right? And then you work your way up and down depending on the seam of the wood, right? So in this case the wood is running up and down, so we're gonna do up and down, and then here you're gonna do horizontal. Okay. So we have done, for the bottom part we did two coating, right? And this is what it looks like. So there are a few issues. Before I get into the issues, I just want to let everybody know that we decided not to take out the cabinets. We just did it while it's hanging. but the preferred way is actually you take it out. Now going to the problem, I'll take a close look at one of the drawer. You could see there is this black stuff here, even though I coated twice. So what it turns out is actually is the oil that was sitting on it. So no matter how many coats you put on, the oil will pop out. So in order to fix that, we have two solutions. Either we sand everything and repaint everything, or the easier way is use a shellac, right? And then apply the shellac over the whole paint, let it dry, and then repaint again. So here I've applied the shellac, right? So I'm gonna apply it to the whole doors and everywhere, and then repaint again. So it's gonna probably take 2 more coat after I do shellac, right? And hopefully that should fix the problem. But for the top, because we made a mistake in the bottom, I started with the shellac, right? So I've put a shellac everywhere. What it does is it basically seals anything that's on the wood. So it's gonna seal all the paint that's all the oil that's there. Even though I cleaned it, it won't come out. So now I'm just sealing the oil, so when I put the paint on, it should not pop out. So we'll check it after I do the painting. So this is the shellac that I am using, and notice the color is amber. So when I apply the shellac on the bottom layer, the original color turn into this dark green color. This is the original color, and this is the dark green color. So I am gonna be doing another layer of this color on top of this, because that's what I want. The whole reason we put a shellac on is because we don't want to see any oil mark. So I'm hoping that after this, when I apply the original color, I will not see any oil mark like we did before. And also I did the top layer, just the first coating, and this is what it looks like. Again, first coating, you know, all you want to do is just like a primer. You don't put too much effort into it, just get the wood nice and wet, and then the next coating, the next coat is where I'm gonna concentrate and put the detail into it. So far this is what the bottom looks like, this is what the top looks like, and definitely this was what I want in the bottom. So we'll have to paint the bottom again and then touch up the top. Maybe I might need third coat on the top as well. Anyways, so this is what I have so far, and we'll continue working on it, and I will keep updating the progress. So I have done the second coat on the top layer. As you can see, it looks pretty good, except few spots where I need to touch up. Like there are some spots where you could see a little bit of blackness or the darkness, but other than that, it looks really good. I'm actually more satisfied with this color, the turnout versus the bottom color. But again, the bottom one, we didn't put shellac before we started, so the oil patch was keep coming up. We will start the bottom part next. Like you can see here, I haven't done a good job here, so I'll probably need a touch up for the third coat. So this is what it looks like with the second coat, and still the bottom is still the same. I haven't touched the bottom yet. So now I'm gonna start the bottom and then work my way up again for the third coat on the top. So now this is what the first coat on top of shellac looks like in the bottom. I know I haven't done a really good job on the first coat, but usually that's how I do it for the first one, and second one is where I put in a lot of effort to make it right. So this is what the first coat in the bottom looks like, and this is what the second coat on top looks like. So my next step is do a little bit of touch up on the top for the third coat, and then second coat in the bottom, and I think the top is pretty much ready for the final stage after that. Okay, so finally I've done the 3 coat on the top. See how smooth it looks? I think it turned out really well. And I've done the 2 coats in the bottom, and I think it's pretty much done as well. I have to do a little bit of patching, few places where you see a little bit of dark colors, but other than that I think the bottom is also done. So the next step is basically we need to seal it. So for the sealing purpose, I've bought chalk paint lacquer by Annie Sloan, and it's clear matte, and basically it gives it a nice varnish so that, you know, it kind of protects the paint and waterproofs it. So we will be applying this to both top and bottom layer. I'm gonna do 1 coat and see how it looks. If need be, I'll probably do a second coat. Okay, so here we're applying the lacquer. As you can see, it's very liquid form, and it's basically you know, you apply it gently and making sure that it covers the whole area. Just make sure there's no dripping, because when it dries it's gonna leave the drip edge. So you want to make sure that you apply it smoothly in every single corner as well as every single panel. And again, you can use any brush for this purpose. We just bought one from a Dollarama. This one doesn't have to be Annie Sloan's brush. Okay, so I have applied the lacquer on the top portion, but we hit a setback. I'm not happy about it. So after I applied, 10 minutes later, I start noticing yellow. You see all these yellow things? I am not sure why it happened, but looks like my 3 coat paint just came off as soon as I applied lacquer. So I'm not sure if something I did wrong, or there's some problem with the paint itself or the lacquer. So I'll have to figure out what I will do to fix this, because before lacquer everything looked so good, it was perfect, and after I apply lacquer, start seeing yellow. So I haven't applied the lacquer to the bottom portion because I don't want the same thing happen in the bottom as well. So I have to figure out how to fix the top and then go from there. So stay tuned as I explore some more solution to this problem. Okay, so for the yellow patches, I had to repaint it again. I read it on the Annie Sloan's website that if the color is light and if you put a lacquer on, it penetrates through and then you'll see the original color. So in order to avoid that, you're supposed to put 1 layer of lacquer before you actually paint. So essentially, since we did the lacquer all night to last night to all of the cabins, we just repainted And now I think we're ready to do another varnishing, and hopefully this time the yellow patch won't come out. And speaking of varnishing, I did the bottom layer, and so far it looks okay. The bottom layer, because it's a dark color, it didn't pack too much, right? I don't see any yellow stain for the bottom part, but definitely on top, because the color was light, yellow patches came out due to the varnish. So I'm gonna start varnishing the top and then let you know the progress. So after reading on the internet, I actually decided to repaint and then reapply the lacquer, the varnishing, and now everything looks perfect. So finally I got it right. It took me a while. So for you guys, if you're trying to do this and if you're gonna use a light color, I suggest you apply a lacquer first and then apply the paint. Otherwise you're gonna run into the same issue that I ran into, where you'll see on some spots yellow spots. So now I don't see any yellow spots, everything looks fine, and I think I'm done with the top layer and as well as bottom. I've done the coating as well as I just applied the varnishing, so that's why it kind of look a little wet and dry, because it's not dry properly yet, but I'm pretty sure when it dries it'll be fine. So as you can see, everything looks fine except few wet spot, which I'm waiting for it to dry. So here you have it, two-tone kitchen cabinets. Okay, so finally I was able to finish the kitchen. All the yellow marks, they're gone. The key to the yellow marks is basically you have to apply lacquer first before you apply your paint. So the mistake I did is I didn't apply the lacquer before the paint. That's why the yellow spots came. So according to Annie Sloan's website, you're supposed to apply lacquer before you apply your paint if you don't want the yellow stains to pop up. So in my case, I actually made a mistake. I did two coating of the paint first, and then I applied the lacquer, and I saw all the yellow spots. So the only way I was able to fix it is basically apply the paint again and then lacquer. And with the lacquer, you have to make sure it's very thin. You apply really thin. You don't want too much, otherwise it's gonna penetrate through. So this is basically the end of my journey of painting the cabinets. Watch out for my next video. Well, I'll be doing probably the backsplash, as well as changing the countertop, and then eventually change all my appliances. As you can see, they're a little outdated. Thanks for watching, and if you think there's something I could have done better or I've done something wrong, please do let me know in my comments. Thanks. Have a good day.